This is going to be mainly what we're going to talk about today. First of all, thank you for coming on this weekly session on Wednesday. The main topic is going to be how can SFM help me build an online business? Yeah, so let's get into it. So the agenda of today, I'm going to basically present myself for about 2 minutes, and I'm going to show you a very interesting video, and as well talk about the topic of the day, how SFM specifically can help me or you build an online business, and then we'll end up with some Q&As. So who am I? My name is Kevin Imani. Just give me just a second to make sure that I get it right. So I am Kevin Imani. I live in Belgium, Brussels. This picture was taken in Brussels Center. I just came back from a meeting. This is me at work. The job that I used to do was administrative assistant. So I used to be an admin assistant. I did that throughout college. And just a quick question. Fred, can you unmute yourself? Is that possible? Just because there's a lag at the same time. All right, beautiful. So this is me taken at work. I used to be an admin assistant, and this is the kind of job that I used to do. I used to do that throughout college and after college as well. The problem was that I quickly realized that this is not the kind of thing that I want to do. Not the job itself, but just more because I just knew that I was not made to kind of work in this regular. There was no value basically that I got from working at these type of jobs. And I always knew that I wanted to build things on my own, or work on some of the projects that I've had, or not to just be content and lie to myself to be thinking this is what I'm made to be doing, or this is the easy route. And that's what I realized that I was going through. And then I knew that I needed to change. I needed to change the way I thought. I needed to change my course of action. And then eventually, Fred and I discovered a way that we could actually make money online and build a lifestyle by obviously having a sustainable income by basically building an automated online business. So this picture on the left, you'll see this is myself and Fred. This was actually taken on my mother's 60th birthday. And the picture on the right, this is basically us in our backyard. And this is pretty much what you get to do when you build an automated online business. You get to work wherever. And if you're effective in it, you build and eventually create an income, a sustainable income. And this is basically what we've managed to be doing. So I want to get into the video. It was a very interesting video of Christian and Martin.
So my turning point was actually back in 2011. It was in May, 8 o'clock in the evening. I came home, my wife's car is there, and I'm walking into the door and I say hi, and nobody is answering. And I could hear the TV, and I walked into the living room and I found my family there just watching TV. And I said, hello, I'm home. And my wife just turned her head and, hi, Christian, and back to the TV. And my kid's just like, hi, Daddy, back to the TV. At that point, I realized that I'm about to lose my family because I've been working so much so they don't know me anymore. Is this what you get if you just want to become successful, earn a lot of money, being able to prepare for the future for your family? I just promised her at that point, I need to do something different. And I'm going to solve this as fast as possible. Yeah, so one of my big interests before was music, so I was a DJ. And when my business went bankruptcy, I needed to get money in like super fast, right? So I took every DJ gig I could get. I was playing a lot of gigs, like 4 times in a week. And all of a sudden I started to lose interest on that. And that's when I found affiliate marketing on the internet, where I basically could go in, just take somebody else's product and service and just market that on the internet. And the only thing I needed to learn was one thing, and that was marketing. Then I just called you up and asked, hey, I'm working with this community here. We have the same goal for the future and everything. We have met before, and I asked you want to join me? And you said yes.
Yeah.
And now we feel more like married.
When I found affiliate marketing, I was actually doing that between my job. So I built up my online business beside my ordinary job. I actually ended up working very long in my traditional job, and in the end I just got enough with it. So I called up my boss and just told him I need to quit. So he told me, so where are you going to start? Nowhere. I'm just going to be at home with my kids.
People invest in other things, but merely people never do invest in themselves. And that's a huge difference, right? Lack of information is never the problem in today's age. There's so much information on the internet. What people need is guidance.
As long as you have your laptop, you have your business up running, you can concentrate and do the things you find fun in life.
When I told my friends from the beginning that I'm gonna start an online business, I thought I was crazy. The thing is that we have been doing this for, almost 7 years now, just quietly behind the scenes. And what makes us happy right now is to really help other people to be able to create a business without destroying everything in their lives by removing even more time. The right time to start a business was yesterday. The next best time is today.
Sweet. So this was, I'm going to share again my screen here. So yeah, so this was basically Christian and Martin. They are actually part, especially Christian. He is a coach now at the SFM, in the SFM company. So the reason why I wanted to show you this video is because it gives you this perspective of people's lives that, you know, they've had normal lives, right? They were parents, or they were just simple citizens working at a 9-to-5 day job, but then they're realizing what the job and the situation and the lifestyle that they were in was affecting, or how it was affecting their lives, especially the Christian, him being a father and not having this, not gaining this time, or at least like getting back the value that he had from being a father and interacting and spending time with his kids. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to show you the video and what an online business can actually provide you, or what kind of lifestyle it can kind of give you. So let's get into the specifics of exactly what is it, or how is it that SFM can help you create an online business. So this is what you see right now on your screen. This is my dashboard, Fred's and I dashboard. This is our dashboard of the company. And this is what the education platform looks like. So it's based out of 5 modules that are made to walk you through step by step how to build an online business. So you can see right there, module 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so then eventually, when you get access to module 1, which you can have access to $29.95 with a 30-day refund policy, you will have access to, as you see in the right, like the introduction, the online selling system, advertising online, how you can eventually build websites, the list building, the providing value, product and the promotions, why you would or would not sell high tickets, and eventually how you can go about starting your business. So this is, again, the same thing. This is the dashboard. This is what I see, and this is what you guys will get with this training. At the same time, you also have access to your personal consultants. And that is well something that you can see on your dashboard. I think, as you can see right here on the right, it said meet your consultants. You can see here again with the red arrow. My consultant is Anthony Seeker, and you guys will have your own personal consultants as well. Basically, that would help you. These are professional guidance, professional individuals that would guide you throughout the system and the training, and to figure out with your interests what specific trainings may be more aligned or accurate for your interest in general in creating your business. And you'll have access to them once you are assigned to your to the module 1. Once you get module 1, you'll definitely be assigned to your dedicated SFM consultants. Now, you also will have weekly training webinars. You can see this is one of the trainings that I've attended. I attend trainings every week as well. You can see myself on the left. And in these trainings, basically what you'll get is you will be able to ask questions, get feedback from the coaches and the experts, and they'll literally would take your question and you'll have an opportunity to speak, and they'll look into your data, or depending on what question. So for example, like we can come up with a question that Fred and I have about like a campaign that we are running on, let's say, YouTube, and we're having problems to, like, you know, have our message presented to the right audience, right? So like we're saying, okay, this is the kind of audience that you're interested in, but like we're struggling, we don't really know how to like go about this. So they'll help us and identify some of the issues or some of the improvements that we can have on our campaign, for example. So it could be marketing questions, it could be technical questions. And this is where I want to get to in the next slide. So we have a support team, right, where you can ask so many types of questions, any type of questions really related to your online business. So we have a system support where you can ask questions such as admin. We have marketing support where you'll have like the example that I've given, specific marketing questions. You have your personal consultant, like I mentioned, and then you also have tech support where you can ask questions about like the links or your backlinks of your website, or some of the hosts of your website, or whatever related technical question that you may have about your business. And you can also always get access to the recordings of not only all the weekly trainings, but as well, if you've had like a coach, or if you've had like a personal coach's session, you can have access to those recordings as well. We also have live events that are held throughout the whole year in different parts of the world. I mean, there's one coming in I think it's this month, no, next month, sorry. In Australia, there's in Toronto, Canada, there are events in South Africa, and also in the US, I think, as well, and in London. So there's many types of events, and usually these events is like speakers, and some of the coaches, they come in and speak, and they'll talk about specific theme or subject, and it's like a whole experience. And so Fred and I definitely hope to attend some of these events this coming year as well. And yeah, so basically, to get access to module 1, you can have it for $29.95, which is a 30-day money back guarantee. So that's what we provide with module 1. Like I explained, you'll get your personal consultants and access to the first module of the training, which eventually is what can give you an idea of what kind of investment that you would be potentially making to get the trainings to start your own business. So this is pretty much it. And then the last part is the Q&A. I'm just going to stop my screen for now. If you guys have questions, don't mind putting on the chat. I'm just going to go over some of the questions that we receive quite often throughout the week of people in general. One of the most common questions that I get from individuals is related to time. People usually have a 9 to 5 job, so they're working already. They have a commitment, or they can be parents, or they can be they just have general commitments, and they also have this desire to start an online business. Now the question is, where do I find that time, right? Where do I find this time to build a business? It sounds overwhelming, but then people don't really know what the expectations are of the workload that they'll have to put in. And so it stops them, it blocks them from starting, or it blocks them from from doing something. Now usually there's two ways that I answer this question. The first thing that I say, and it's the most straightforward answer, I would say, is that this opportunity is an opportunity that actually can buy you time. So let me explain. What this is that you'll get so basically in an online business, there's several modules that you can models in general that you can run your business on. You can have an affiliate marketing model, you can have an e-commerce model. There's also different types of like drop shipping type of model, but that's another model that will definitely be tackling in the future. Or there is just your regular products. It's pretty much the same thing as like an e-commerce. If you already have an ongoing business that you're just putting on social media platforms to promote those products. But it's usually these kind of models that you're running. Once you automate that system, which means that you make it run for itself, it's something that you don't have to hands-on be actively working on it, because it's already automated. And eventually that system, if it's run efficiently, will give you a sustainable income where by way you don't have to spend as much time as you would at a regular job, because a regular job, you're trading your time for money. So let's say you work 8 hours a day, you're paid for those 8 hours. Now with an online business, you could be working 3 hours, 4 hours, and you'll still be paid as if you would be working 8 hours. So the remainder of those 5 hours a day is what you've managed to build in an automated system. So that's a straightforward answer that I would give, and that's pretty much what this allows you to have is time. Now, don't get me wrong. It does take a lot of work and dedication to build that system. But that's the first thing that I would say is like, yeah, you are actually buying time. It sounds weird, but that's what you're doing. You're actually buying something that is a non-renewable resource, which is time. And that's the most valuable thing about it, because you can't go back into time. So you kind of have to have what you have now. But if you can buy it and you have discretionary time, which allows you to do what you want to do whenever you want to do it, then that's the advantage that you will get. So let me just look real quick in the chat real quick, just to make sure that everybody sees what I'm saying. Okay. Another question another question that I seem to be getting from people is that, I mean, there's two more questions. One question is about technical background. So a lot of people tend to ask as well whether it's indispensable or necessary to have specific technical backgrounds to start a business. And automatically when they think about it, they think, oh, I need to be a web developer, or I need to be a marketing analysis or whatever, or I need to be, a financial expert, all these type of kind of roles and all these type of kind of like titles that people put in their minds that they believe that they need to have. Now, what I would say is that, and that's actually the advantage of the training, is that the training is made in such a way that no matter from what background you come from, you will be taught from the very beginning how you can effectively and efficiently begin and build a business, an online business specifically. So, and that's the advantage of it, because now a lot of the things are automated in itself. So for example, websites. that's something that Fred and I have gone through as well. But once you have the training and you understand what kind of products you would like to promote or services, and to who you want to speak to, which is a big topic as well, like the avatar, the customer avatar, you will eventually have the right tools to build your website, and it'll teach you with the coaches, with the weekly training, with the consultants, and with myself as referrals. You will be taught how you can effectively build that website, which is not that difficult once you go through the training. Same thing for your numbers. You'll understand, how to run campaigns and what to look into, right? Your leads, your conversions, click-through rate, pay-per-click. So there's, sorry, there's a lot of these different elements that you'll be taught from the very beginning. On how to look into it and how to build them. So when people ask me, I'm not a website developer and I don't have $2,000 to pay for a website. I'm like, listen, you don't have to pay $2,000 for a website. That's way too expensive nowadays. Like, there's no reason. Maybe 10 years ago it was $2,000, but now there's no reason for paying $2,000 for a website. You can make websites in pretty much no time. Or no money, more, I would say. It just still take time, but you need to understand what kind of website you want to build. But yeah, so basically, what regards to technical background, I would not worry about that. And I think the last question that people ask, and this is a question as well that I've had this morning from someone, is related to money. So there are people that may be living on a tight budget, or that are, let's say, they've looked at different trainings, but they don't know whether the money that they would invest is worth the value that they would get from the training. And I definitely understand. So basically, in this moment, I'm just reading your question, George, just to make sure that we can cover that before the time ends. In this moment, I am studying the Stuart Ross book, Attraction Marketing, to figure out how to start. I don't have a business, just an idea about helping people be better and achieve a better life, because that's the thing I love to do. I'm trying to understand how to put things together to start. Okay. Okay, I would love to know. And this is maybe a question that George, that we can go into in depth in the future, or by email, or in the next week. But one thing that I would love to talk about, and maybe you'll be able to explain that, is why that is important to you, specifically in wanting to help people be better and achieve a better life. Because I understand that's what you love to do, but I'm wondering whether there's something deeper than that. Like, whether there is what kind of value you would get from it, or why that is quite significant for you to help people and live a better life. And the reason, because I'm not just asking that just for the sake of asking it, but the reason why I'm asking that, or that I'm curious about that, is that once we talk about why you're specifically interested in that, it can help you to clarify what kind of business that you may actually be running, or that you may be interested in running, right? Because a lot of time, and that's what you get from some of the trainings that you'll see as well in the session, is that, like, it's one thing to have a specific desire to do something, right? It could be based on preferences, experiences, whatever it is. But once you go deep into that desire and ask the why question, like, why not just do nothing at all? Like, why would you want to do this, right? Like, if you're able to ask the deeper question of why, you start actually seeing what kind of impact you want to have in people's lives, and eventually what kind of business you want to start running. Because once you find that intrinsic passion in what you want to do, everything in the business is going to be so much more, I don't want to say easier, but it's still going to be a challenge, but at least the motives will be, you'll sense the motives. People will sense the energy, right? People will sense, okay, this guy is super genuine in what he does and he values it a lot. I don't know exactly why, but it's for sure. Like people will see sort of like, they'll sense that fire in you and whatnot. So I would love to go into this more in deep if you will be willing. Just I'm curious as well why exactly that is valuable to you and why you would want to do that. But don't worry. I mean, yeah, we're like, it's normal that you're still trying to put things together. It's the very beginning of the journey, but you're definitely on the right path. You definitely are. You want to make a difference. Like you want to change it. You want to grow in this business, and there's opportunity for it. And we'll definitely figure out. Yeah, put that in the mail. Sounds good. Sounds good. We'll definitely get back to you on that. But thank you for asking your questions. I really do appreciate that. I really appreciate that. So yeah, so basically, I just want to wrap up the last question that I received this morning from a lady, and basically she talked about the fact that about money, right? But the commitments or the input, the investment, I'm sorry, that you'll put into something, and then think about whether you will get the value out of it, which is basically the regular return on your investment, but more like on a financial aspect of it. And pretty much the same answer that I will tell people is what I told her, is to say there are in fact individuals that cannot afford this, cannot afford $29.95. Sometimes it's hard to believe, but it's true. Now, in a regular Western, like let's say, I say regular very cautiously, but most people can put or save $29 just because that's a regular night out, right? Or that's a dinner, right? Usually people can do that. Now, when people are doubting whether they want to invest in that money, $29.95, there's usually like two things I'd say. I'd say, well, first of all, you need to understand why, and I always ask the question, why is it valuable for you to start an online business? Why not do nothing at all? Like, why not keep living the lifestyle that you're living? What's wrong with that, right? What's wrong with just keep doing what you're doing, right? And when I ask that question, I see people kind of like, thinking, well, that's not what I want. That's the reason, that's the first reason why I'm here. And I'm thinking, right, but how are your values aligned? Because clearly if somebody says no, I actually would rather spend $29.95 on going out with my friends on an evening, or like, let's say it's 2 evenings or whatever, like a weekend, as opposed to investing and figuring out, or investing or figuring out basically how to build the business. Then it shows that the values are not specifically aligned. And the question is, you will have to reevaluate the values in that way. So that's basically what I would ask people, but we'll definitely talk about it more in the coming weeks, and in the coming basically weekly Q&As. But in any case, I'm going to wrap it up because I have another meeting going, and I'm a little bit over time actually. But thank you guys so much for attending this weekly session. I hope that we've managed to cover some of the questions. Jorge, again, thank you for your question. Thank you for posting that, and as well for those who will watch the recording. I hope that this is giving you value, that some of the questions that you've had as well, that you've asked throughout the week, that were answered. If not, email us. We'll hopefully try to see how we can answer them better, or just answer any other type of question that you have. Make sure that you come, if you can, to the next weekly session, and we will definitely keep in touch. Thank you so much for coming, and have an amazing evening. All right, guys. See you. Bye-bye.